When discussing the toughest championships in NBA history, the first couple ones that come to mind are Dallas in 2011, the 95 Rockets, who won as the 6th seed, or maybe the 2010 Lakers, who had a 50-win team in every single round of the playoffs. The one team, one championship run you're not going to think of is the 2020 Lakers in the NBA bubble. And the kind of revisionist history about the bubble, the odd nostalgia about it, is getting a little out of hand.
Man, listen, that was crazy.
Talk about the bubble.
That was the hardest championship to win.
What?
15 deep, plus coaches, staff, whatever you need, like training staff. Other than that, it's you, your thoughts in one room.
Listening to guys like Bam talk about the NBA bubble, you'd think it was World War II in the trenches. They're getting bombed 24/7 and facing death every single second. The reality about the NBA bubble, these guys had a 5-month break leading up to it. They were in a 5-star resort, completely deserted, had access to pools, rides, chefs 24/7, and really anything they could want at the drop of a hat. When I hear guys like Bam Adebayo talk about the NBA bubble, this is 100% a first world problem and a millionaire's problem. As for the average citizen in 2020, even now, not having your personal chef on standby 24/7 isn't some great horror that ruins your life.
Just touch that.
Yeah, it's cold.
Touch it. It's raw.
And when talking about the 2020 Lakers, of course, the 5-month break, no travel, no home court advantage. That stuff does matter. But for a second, let's push all that to the side and act like this championship was a normal championship played on traditional terms. Even if you do that, based off competition alone, this championship run was extremely weak. As in the first round, they played the 35-win Blazers, who were the 28th best defense in the NBA, and their leader Dame Lillard, who got hurt in Game 3 of that series. The second round, the 44-win microball Rockets, led by James Harden, one of the biggest playoff chokers in NBA history, and PJ Tucker, who was playing center versus Anthony Davis. The West Finals, the Nuggets, who won 46 games. This Nuggets team didn't have Aaron Gordon, MPJ was a rookie, and both Jokic and Jamal Murray were under the age of 25. And the creme de la creme in the NBA Finals, the Miami Heat, who won 44 games. In Game 1 of that series, both Dragic and Bam got hurt and were injured. Dragic missed nearly the entire series, and Bam missed 2 full games. So in essence, it was Jimmy Butler going solo with Tyler Hero, who was a rookie, Duncan Robinson, and Kelly Olynyk. No disrespect to those players, but that overall lineup was like the Boston Celtics from the 1950s.
4 minutes gone by here in the second. Tyler Hero, 3-pointer.
If you treat this championship run like a normal championship run, still, it's one of the weakest of all time based off competition. And if you add in all the other circumstances, it makes it even weaker and debatably the weakest championship in NBA history. Now, of course, listen to Bam Adebayo. His take was a tad bit delusional. But there's one guy who went even further, that being LeBron James, who said this.
The one thing that I know for sure, that I've been a part of 2 teams that's won the 2 hardest championships in NBA league history. The 2016 Cavs coming back from 3-1 versus 73-9 team, being down 3-1 versus one of the best teams that ever been assembled.
Two-time MVP.
Two-time MVP. And then what we went through in the bubble.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
So of course LeBron right there, sniffing his own farts per usual, claiming 2 of his championships are the toughest in NBA history. Now, to debunk LeBron's point, again, looking at the 2020 bubble, the average win percentage of the teams they faced was a staggering 57.8%. Since 1980, ranking all championships by that metric, this bubble championship is the 5th lowest all time by opponents' win percentage. And having quotes like these, takes like these, it kinda is ignorance to NBA history. As looking at someone like Olajuwon back in '95, his championship undoubtedly was much harder than the 2020 bubble, as Houston that year was the 6th seed and ran the gauntlet in that very tough Western Conference. As in the first round, they beat the Jazz, who for a top 10 offense and defense, the second round Barkley's Suns came back from down 3-1 in the West Finals. David Robinson's Spurs, he was the MVP. They were a top 5 offense and top 5 defense. And of course the finals, the Shaq and Penny Magic, they had Nick Anderson, Horace Grant, 3D, and 2 rounds prior had dethroned Jordan's Bulls. And before I forget, looking at Hakeem's individual run, it's debatably the best run ever from a center or a non-perimeter player. At the 95 playoffs, he averaged 33.0 points per game, 10.3 boards, nearly 5 assists, 3 blocks, 1 steal on 53.1% shooting. LeBron James claimed the 2020 bubble was somehow better than Hakeem 95. On so many levels, it is just downright embarrassing. I mean, from a team perspective, Hakeem had less help, played better competition throughout the playoffs and the finals. As an individual, was much better.
He ain't lying.
Now, to give LeBron a slight bit of credit, he also said the 2016 title in Cleveland was one of the toughest of all time, and in his opinion, in the top 2. Of course, I don't buy that, but this take isn't nearly as bad. And I think LeBron's big mistake right here is ranking this championship based solely off the NBA Finals. And when ranking championships, I see that a lot. As you look at the 2016 Cavs, their road to the NBA Finals was more than lackluster, and that Eastern Conference just screams meh. As in the first round, they beat the 44-win Pistons, who had Andre the Giant. The second round, the 48-win Hawks, Hall of Fame point guard Jeff Teague, and the East Finals, DeMar DeRozan, the perennial playoff dropper. When looking at the Cavs' 2016 championship, that Finals versus the Warriors carries the majority of the weight. As again, looking at the Eastern Conference, it was downright pitiful. And from an all-time perspective, comparing Jordan versus LeBron James, their toughest championship runs, I would say Jordan's run 97 was tougher than any LeBron run in his career, mainly because Jordan's East was definitively better. As in the first round, he beat the 44-win Bullets, who had Juwan Howard, Chris Webber, 2 All-Stars. The second round, the Atlanta Hawks had Mookie Blaylock, a one-time All-Star, All-Defensive Player, Christian Laettner, an All-Star 97, Steve Smith, All-Star 98, and Mutombo, also an All-Star 97. The East Finals, the 61-win Heat, Alonzo Mourning, Tim Hardaway, Thunder Dan, Jamal Mashburn, and Pat Riley as the coach. And of course, the NBA Finals, the Utah Jazz, who won a whopping 64 games, led by John Stockton and Karl Malone. And of course, one of the big false narratives for MJ is the so-called weak finals competition. But looking at that Jazz team, they not only won 64 games, but in the finals, played MJ's Bulls to a complete standstill. As in the entire series, the margin of victory was only 0.6 points per game on average. And in games 5 and 6 of the series, lost those 2 games by combined 6 total points. That 97 Jazz team was top 10 in virtually every category, offensively and defensively. And looking at their playoff run, they took down Shaq, Eddie Jones, Nick Van Exel, a young Kobe, and the West Finals, Hakeem, Barkley, and Clyde Drexler. And to go full circle in this video, looking back at the 2020 bubble, the fans who defend the bubble defend that championship. One of the common responses I hear to defending it is, well, all the teams in the bubble played under the same circumstances and the same rules. Now look, that is 100% true and a valid point. But in the overall debate of the greatest championships ever, that really doesn't matter. Because yes, comparing bubble teams to themselves, all those teams were on an even playing field. But that's not what we're doing. We're comparing every championship in NBA history. And the 2020 bubble, unfortunately, stands out as one of the most flukiest and odd championships there ever has been. As to restate for the 1000th time, there were no fans, no travel, no home court advantage, and a 5-month break in between the season. Look, historically speaking, the bubble championship, it does count in the record books, and the Lakers have a banner for that championship. I'm fine with that. But where I kind of draw the line is when players, fans alike, said that bubble championship was much harder than a normal championship. And hearing guys LeBron James, Bam Adebayo defend that championship, largely it's hollow ramblings going on about nothing. Yeah man, it was so rough in that hotel, that 5-star resort. We had service on deck 24/7. It was a tough battle. Like I said earlier, this stuff is first world problems and problems for millionaires. So, as always, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.